Professional wrestling and professional American football are two of my biggest passions in life. I don't know. I guess there's just something about big, strong, burly men tackling each other that I just seem to gravitate to. And because I love the WWE, AEW, and all the world of professional wrestling, along with the NFL, I'm trying to find a way to bring the two together. And that's what this video is all about, as I'm going to go through every single NFL team and I'm going to tell you what WWE superstar they are. And yeah, I'm probably going to make fun of many of your football teams. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You'll be okay. I guarantee you I'm gonna get one comment. That was uncalled for. Relax. It's a joke, man. You'll be okay. All right. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I promise. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're gonna love this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. So go ahead and subscribe. All right. We're starting off with the lowly Arizona Cardinals, who are gonna lose just about every single game this season. They're gonna get no primetime love. They're really just there to make other teams look better. In the world of professional wrestling, that is called being a jobber. And that is what the Arizona Cardinals are going to be this season. And for that, you are Akira Tozawa. You're an enhancement talent. You're there to make every other wrestler look better. And you're barely ever going to get on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. You're lucky to get on main events. So Arizona Cardinals, you're Akira Tozawa. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. And you know what? I tried to keep this as recent as possible where I could make a comparison about things that have happened recently, but I just kept going back to that choke job of the 28-3 at the Super Bowl. Don't worry, I'm a Chargers fan. I know what it's like to lose a giant lead, but still, at least it wasn't at the Super Bowl. And because you choked so bad, I had to just make you Justin Roberts getting choked by Daniel Bryan. It's just too perfect. And next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens, a team that dealt with a lot of financial adversity this offseason because their superstar quarterback, Lamar Jackson, refused to take a deal that was smaller than what he believed it was worth. He felt like he needed his millions and millions of dollars, regardless of whether or not it meant that the team couldn't pay the other lower income players. Like, for the love of God, pay your running backs, NFL. And because the story of the Ravens this season was, you know, the superstar rich quarterback trying to take the money from the lowlier other players, we're going to say that that's Ted DiBiase Jr., who was recently allegedly accused of stealing millions of dollars from lower income families. I don't know. This is just a stretch, but hey, I'm going with it. The Buffalo Bills. You got to love the Bills Mafia breaking tables wherever it is that they go. I love going to Bills tailgates because they're just a tremendous amount of fun. They're going to be an excellent team this season. This is who I decided to go with. And you might be looking at this. Oh, he went with the Dudley Boys. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're an energetic tag team. They break tables just like the Bills Mafia fans do. But the Bills are the table because just like the Bills in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, they're going to break under pressure. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers have really warmed our hearts this season by giving an opportunity to a little person the size of Bryce Young to start at quarterback. I think that that is an absolutely selfless feat of the Carolina Panthers to let somebody who's 4'10" play their starting quarterback. And because they decided to do that, I had to give them Hornswoggle. I know Hornswoggle's quite a bit taller than Bryce Young, the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, but you get the sentiment. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears, who are dealing with an identity crisis. They don't know whether they're a passing team or a running team. Their quarterback doesn't know if he's a quarterback or a running back. And because they're dealing with this identity crisis, I had to make them Elias and Ezekiel, Elias's younger brothers, because we just don't know which one we're going to get that week or which one they want to be. Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, a team with very few flaws. They're an excellent team and are championship caliber, but just have not been able to win that championship. Sure, they can win some division championships. Heck, they might even win a conference title here or there, but they just seem to not be able to win the big one, at least not yet. And that is why they are Gunther, the Ring General, a guy that's eventually going to win the big one, but not yet. But he can still win some major accolades like the Intercontinental Championship. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns. And because for many years they were the laughingstock, and even though they have a great roster, they still somehow managed to be the laughingstock of the league. They're just clowns. So I figured, hey, let's make them Doink the Clown. Let's make it a serious, just one-to-one comparison between the two. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys. And look, I'm not on the bandwagon of hating the Dallas Cowboys, but somehow they are the most hated team in the league. Everyone outside of Dallas Cowboys fans have unanimously come together, collectively agreed and shook hands and said, we all hate the Dallas Cowboys, making the Dallas Cowboys the biggest heels in the entire league. And who's a bigger heel in the WWE right now than Dominic Mysterio, who gets booed everywhere that he goes? Nobody likes Dominic Mysterio. The guy can barely cut a promo. It doesn't matter what he does. Dominic Mysterio at this point could cure cancer and he's still going to get booed out of the building. That's why he's the Dallas Cowboys. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos, who at this point aren't in a rebuild, but more so in a reimagining. They know that they've got the right pieces, but the right pieces haven't really been put together. It's almost as if they brought in somebody to teach them how to make those pieces come together. And it's almost as if you can say that that is a teachable moment because they are Andre Chase of Chase University from NXT. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions, a team for a long time that nobody really paid attention to because all they did was lose. But really, with time, you started to get to know them a little bit more. They went on Hard Knocks and really started to win the hearts of the fans, the hearts of the people. And now they're a pretty good team and they're really likable and easy to root for. My friends, there's no better comparison to the Lions than Mr. Chatty Daddy himself, Chad Gable, a man who for years was just a jobber who we knew had talent, but was never really properly utilized. And now that he's getting proper TV time, we're getting to see his charisma. We're getting to see how good he is in the ring. Everyone is behind Chatty Daddy and wants him to win and wants him to succeed at life. They're Chad Gable. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers, a team that at any moment was a Super Bowl favorite and could go on a major run. But they've really lost the identity of their team over the last couple of seasons, losing Devontae Adams and, of course, losing Aaron Rodgers. And now going into the season, even though they're a super popular team, it's just not the same. It's kind of similar to when Hit Row lost Swerve, because people loved Hit Row. Hit Row was a serious contender to make a lot of noise in the main roster. And then they lost Swerve, and then all of a sudden, they're not really making any noise anymore. Next up, we have the Houston Texans. They're a team that's not going to be very good this season. In fact, they're going to be punting a lot, and they're still in denial about all of the awful things that have happened to them over the last couple of seasons. So I would say that they're Schnitzky, who was always in denial, always saying, it wasn't my fault, and he is one hell of a punter. I'm honestly, Texans, with how much you're going to be punting, you should probably sign Schnitzky. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts, a team that has been going through an identity crisis because it doesn't know what it wants to be. A team that's been going through different quarterbacks season over season over season until finally deciding, okay, let's properly do a rebuild and draft a first-round QB. That kind of reminds me of a wrestler that is going through a ton of different gimmick changes, none of them working until eventually deciding, let me go back to my roots to NXT and restart things and properly rebuild my career. The Colts are Baron Corbin. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, a very young and a very good team, a team that we can see perhaps 5 years down the line really being a Super Bowl contender, maybe even carving a little bit of a dynasty for themselves. But as of right now, they're not there yet, and if they get put up against the big dogs in the AFC, they're gonna get mauled. Almost exactly like what happened to Austin Theory, a young guy who is going to inevitably win a world title. He is very, very good. He's winning some accolades here or there, just like the Jaguars can win their division. Austin Theory can win a US title, but the second that they put him up against John Cena, he got absolutely destroyed, even though he won the match, but really he lost the war, and look at him now. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that's at the top of their game. Some might even say that they're in God mode. They're borderline unstoppable, and when you think that they're weak, they somehow still manage to win the whole damn thing. Let's just admit it. They're Roman Reigns. They are. They really are. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that, I don't know, I didn't really want to find a comparison for, so I decided to make them Eugene because Raiders players and Raiders fans are a bunch of Oh, hey, here's my team, the Los Angeles Chargers, a team that every offseason, every analyst says, this is it, this is the year. They have so much talent, they can win it all, they can finally dethrone the Chiefs, but it never happened. So who did I decide to go with? I decided to go with Goldberg because before the season starts, we look like Goldberg. Everybody looks at us and says, oh my God, what a dangerous, scary team. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to win it all. But once the season actually starts, we go from being Goldberg to being Gilberg. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams, a team so old that half of them seem to be older than their coach at this point. But yet they still somehow believe they've got another Super Bowl run in them, just like Ric Flair, who refuses to retire and thinks he can still go in the ring. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins, an obnoxious team that's incredibly talented. They're incredibly fast. They're all over the place. They're all over the field. And even their quarterback is left-handed. So you just don't know how to deal with them. And even though they're super talented, everyone just loves to root against them. So I'm going to say that they're the Spirit Squad, a very in-your-face team that has all of the talent in the world, but you just can't help but to fucking hate them. The Minnesota Vikings, a team that no matter what they do, they just cannot win the big one. They're not capable of finishing the story. Just like Cody Rhodes can't finish the story, and he's never going to finish the story because the Tribal Chiefs are never going to lose, baby. The New England Patriots. Look, this is the team that pretends to be the underdog, but at any moment, regardless of what terrible roster they have, they can just somehow magically make a Super Bowl run. But yet they'll keep telling, yeah, we're the underdogs this season. No, you're not. You're John Cena. It doesn't matter what you do. You're always gonna be a team that could win it all, regardless of how old you get, of how talentless you get. You are always going to get the spotlight too. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints, the biggest woe is me team in the entire league. We would have won if this didn't happen. We would have won if that didn't happen. That was pass interference. Wah. You have all the talent in the world, but you just can't let things go. Just like Mustafa Ali. That Kofi Mania push was supposed to be Ali Mania. I was supposed to win the North American title. Wah, wah, wah. The New York Giants. The New York Giants are a team that on paper are bad, but they could just win it all. Not that they were bad when they won their Super Bowls, but they had no business beating those Patriots teams. And somehow they shocked the world and won the big prize twice. But now that we're back to reality, we're back to them just kind of being mediocre and not that great. Kind of like Jinder Mahal, who somehow, I don't know how in the world he pulled it off, beat Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, but just like the Giants, reverted back to mediocrity. The New York Jets. This is it. This is your final chance, Aaron Rodgers. Just like Edge, this is your final run. We're in the retirement tour, baby. This is it. You either win it here or you don't anymore. The Philadelphia Eagles. This is like one of the scariest teams in the league. Solid defense, solid offense. They have no gaps. At any moment, they could just destroy any team that they want. And yet somehow, even though they're so good, no one wants them to win the big one. Almost exactly like Brock Lesnar, who has everything. He's the most gifted human being alive, the alpha male of our species, scary ass motherfucker, but nobody wants him to win the big one anymore. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that is consistently good because of front office and their coaching. It doesn't matter who they put out there because Mike Tomlin is somehow gonna make magic with them. It's almost as if the players are just Mike Tomlin's clients, like Paul Heyman, who can just mold anything into gold. The San Francisco 49ers, a monstrous team that has an incredible offense, a team that has an almost unmatched defense, but somehow all glued together by a guy named Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. I would say that's the authors of pain when they were managed by Drake Maverick. Here we on the left-hand side, you got the strong offense. Right-hand side, the strong defense, and in the middle, that's Brock Purdy. The Seattle Seahawks. They're a team that's just gone through so much adversity, losing their franchise quarterback, their defense just not being what it used to be with the Legion of Boom, and yet somehow they're always carried by their incredible fan base. So if I had to pick a WWE superstar that resembles the Seahawks, I have to say it's Daniel Bryan Yes Movement, where the fans just catapulted this man to the top of the roster and to a WrestleMania main event. Perhaps maybe we see the Seahawks with Geno Smith making the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team who truly doesn't know who their quarterback is. Whoever they have in there is really just there as a placeholder until they can either get a major free agency signee or somebody in the draft. They're really just a placeholder, kind of like vacant is a placeholder whenever a WWE superstar gets injured. The Tennessee Titans. This season, folks, you guys are going to be a one-man team. It's going to be the Derrick Henry show because you got absolutely nothing else in terms of talent. It kind of makes sense that you're from the music Music City that you're a one-man band. Kind of like the one-man band that was Heath Slater. He's a one-man band. He's got kids too. And last but not least, we've got the Washington Redskins. No, sorry, I mean the Washington football. No, sorry, I meant the Washington Commanders. Wait, are they going back to the Redskins now? Oh my God, you guys are Mick Foley. All right, you really are. Okay, get out of here.